As a board member, how will you evaluate the district's plans for making the change? What role should you take in monitoring and implementing this transition?
I'm excited about the Common Core. I think this is going to be a terrific change in our education. It's going to be more real-world, project-based, and collaborative learning. And that's the way that we work. We don't get a math problem, an English problem, a history problem. We get a problem at work or in our daily lives. And then we have all facets of it that we have to work out. In my mind, that's how Common Core is going to be implemented. And the best way would be if we were to have teams of teachers work together and teach students interdisciplinary. So for instance, if you had an election issue, for instance, you could have the math piece of it be the statistics. You could have the history piece of it, learning about past elections. You could have the English language piece of it be write a speech and deliver it. That would be a fantastic way to learn, I think. In terms of how you can decide whether that's a good program, well, I think that there's testing that's going to be taking place in 2014, 2015. But beyond that, we should listen to our kids. Are they excited about learning? I think that's the best evaluation.
I am excited about Common Core. I think that its emphasis on integrating different disciplines is exactly the direction we need to be going for the future. Regarding a role as a board member, I think it boils down to two things. One is to make sure the school district has a real plan for implementation that includes milestones that are measurable, and then hold the administration accountable to their own plan of implementation. But secondly is to be kind of the avenue for feedback in and out. That is, be available to parents and students and other people interested in the community, to be available to teachers who are having trouble in getting it implemented or getting going. Being a communication vehicle is the second most important way that a board member can help drive this very important change in how we deliver curriculum.
So in terms of Common Core state standards, I think it's a great opportunity to really look at how we can customize the learning experience for our kids and place real-world problems and have their classroom experience be more interesting and exciting. I think it's interesting that the standards are going to be common across the various schools, but then how it actually gives a lot of flexibility to the district in how to teach the kids. And I think that's where, similar to what Herb said, a lot of it is monitoring that feedback from all the different stakeholders, whether it's teachers, parents, kids, even community members, whether things are working or things are not working. And I think one of the key things is that hasn't been talked about is the parent engagement is actually one of the measures for the Common Core state standards. So how are we going to measure parent engagement? That, I think, is something that we need to focus on.
Chuck.
So I think we just had a professional development last Friday, and one of the key aspects of Common Core is going to be instructional leadership teams. And that's going to be the principal working closely with their teachers at every site, ensuring that teachers are collaborating across grade level, which they've always done, but now you've got a new set of standards that you're going to have to work to. We're going to have to support as a board. There's going to be new textbooks that are going to have to be adopted in some instances. Again, we're going to have to protect the professional development time. We haven't dedicated, this was the first professional development day we've had in, I believe, 4 years. All right, we're going to have to make a commitment to having those full days and have those release days so the teachers can get together and work across the district. Those things are going to be essential. But it is exciting. It's a good change for everybody. Just today, I had to redo my test. I give a midterm at the end of the quarter, and I had to sit down and throw all those multiple choice questions out, and everything now is written, it's supporting evidence. It is such an improvement. I mean, we should spend time teaching kids how to take a multiple choice test. I mean, come on, all right? We're not going to be doing that anymore, so that's great.
So I think, as a school board member, the goal would be to ensure that we have milestones defined and peer performance indicators defined in our plan, but then let the experts handle, the translation. I think teachers are the best resource who would understand what the implementation of the Common Core involves. As a board member, my role would be to ensure that that there are goals in place and those goals are met. The other important thing, is stuff that I've already realized. Like we said, sixth grade, my sixth grader, it was very confusing the first few weeks to understand whether there was advanced math or no advanced math, pre-algebra. What we need is clear communication, which we did receive from Joe Funk, which clearly articulated what the different levels of math that's going to be taught, the math nights that are planned. So these are the things that that ensures that that we know what's happening in the district.
So I think most teachers in this district are really looking forward to being able to use the Common Core standards in their classrooms because they finally make sense and are really easy to use. And I think hesitancy that teachers feel around it comes from just not being familiar with them, and that comes back to when do you have the time to sit down and look at a whole new set of standards when you still are trying to do your day-to-day and teach things. So I think it does come back to making sure we value the educators and give them the professional development time to just even sit down with them and look at them and then work with their teams to do planning together. They are the ones that are going to be delivering it, and so they need all of the support and whatever it is that they need. We need to be able to be there with that for them, give them what they need so they can feel successful. Because if they're confident, then the students will be confident. I think what's great is that the Common Core is going to up the rigor. And there I am out of time, sorry. Thank you.
So I think Rakesh said it best about what the board's leadership role is as far as making sure that there's milestones and they're met and they're accountable for. I think the educators are the ones, the expert in how to implement the Common Core and how to teach. My concern, which is a great concept with Common Core, is that with the English learners and the ones, or the children that are shy or not the ones quite really, introverted, how are we going to get those children involved? How are we going to transition the English learners or the children with learning disability? How do we get to close the gap on that? That's the part I'd like to understand better.
So this is the last